relieve stress and anxiety? Sure, we all do. Here now for a healthier start to the new year. We've got tips on getting started.
We do.
It's our psychiatrist, our personal psychiatrist,
Our life
and the
coach.
author of The Self-Healing Mind, Dr. Gregory Scott Brown. Dr. Brown, welcome.
You guys look great. Hopefully you feel great.
I feel all right. Well, Kelly was just
teetering.
saying,
We're teetering on the edge.
She'll watch something before bedtime, and it might keep her in her thoughts.
Right.
Is there a way to control something like that?
Deep breathing, yoga nidra.
You know, that
Watching
doesn't-
Hallmark?
It doesn't
No?
really help. Once I get into my head, I have a hard time getting out of my head, and I think a lot of people have anxiety.
Yeah.
And once you start thinking about your anxiety, it becomes more anxiety.
Right. How do you define anxiety?
Well, let's talk about what anxiety really is. Anxiety is a physical and an emotional response to stress. And it doesn't take a psychiatrist to tell you that we have a lot of stress in our lives these days. Now, the important thing to keep in mind is that anxiety is a normal human experience. We all have it. But if it starts to cause a problem in your life, then it's worth addressing.
Okay, and so how do you relieve? I mean, I sleep with a stuffed Garfield. That helps at night sometimes too. How do you relieve anxiety and stress?
So other than your stuffed Garfield, you can try starting with a gratitude journal. So this is really easy, right? So just spend the beginning of every day, just write down 3 things that you're grateful for. And it could be anything. Family, health, community.
Does that have to be different every time, or can they?
It can be the same thing. One day I was grateful that the Houston Astros won the World Series. So studies have shown that people who actually keep a gratitude journal have an improvement in their heart rate variability, which is an indicator of reduced physical and emotional stress.
Now, when you say gratitude journal, that's not like a burn book, right? That's not like a book where you write down all the people that have aggrieved you. And
well, I mean, if that's what you want to do, then totally.
That might calm
not?
her. Coffee. This is like we love coffee in the morning, but how does it contribute to anxiety?
So I don't want the coffee lovers hating on me because I love coffee too. But green tea, particularly Japanese matcha green tea, has a good amount of caffeine, plus an amino acid called L-theanine, which is useful for reducing mild forms of anxiety.
Could we just take maltheanine?
So it actually
like
has
a supplement?
Totally. So it's been studied. 100, 200 milligrams of L-theanine can alleviate anxiety.
Okay.
Meditation. I have tried meditation before, and I'm not a good meditator.
Yeah. So you're a fidgety skeptic, huh?
A little bit.
We can't.
Not
we
skeptic,
can't.
but we just aren't good at
We
it.
can't get the minds quiet.
So I'll tell you, so something I've really gotten into personally over the past few months is walking meditation. And it's really great for people who find that sitting in a dark, quiet room with their own thoughts on a cushion just has a way of making their anxiety scream louder and louder and louder. So you can actually use walking as a form of meditation, whether you're walking a treadmill or walking out in the park.
And do you use music? Does it matter?
So I recommend plugging in your headphones, listening to calming sounds of nature, or you can even check out a guided walking meditation wherever you stream your music.
What about a murder podcast?
No.
Kelly, you're like getting all
I get half.
wrong.
You know what it is?
No, we just
Here's
calmed
the
you
thing.
down, and
Dr.
here you
Brown,
go again.
Dr. Brown, I get halfway. I'm like halfway there. I'm like, oh, walking meditations, yes.
Maybe if they solved the murder, she could relax.
Right.
What about
I always do myself in.
therapy? Tell us about
Therapy is great. So here's some news. I'm a therapist, and I see a therapist. I mean, therapy, not going to therapy is like so 2022. We could turn the page on that. So having a therapist, just a neutral sounding board to bounce your anxieties off of, can be a great way to alleviate anxiety.
And what about medication?
Right. So you always want to ask your doctor, but the important thing for people to know is that medications are highly effective. A lot of medications for anxiety are not habit forming. Just talk to your provider about it.
Okay, good tips. We should put them to use in 23. Thank you so much for coming. Dr. Gregory Scott Brown's book, The Self-Healing Mind, is available. We'll be right back. Stay where you are.